Hello, Thorstad here with another easy Lego upgrade, and this time we'll be upgrading Lego set 75201, the first order ATST, or otherwise known as the worst Lego set ever made, because we don't have an ATST, we've got an ATST's legs, which is quite disappointing. So this easy Lego upgrade is not going to be the easiest we've done, because we're going to build out the entire head section here so that we have a complete ATST, and then we'll make it easily detachable so that the end result can still be this with BB-8 driving it, similar to the scene in the movie. But when you don't want just a set of legs, you would actually have a full-on ATST. This is not going to be our easiest Lego upgrade, so we're going to do this a little bit differently. We'll do it in parts. So the first part of the video here will be modifying the existing set, and then we will build out the entire head in sections, and we'll show you the parts that we need as we go through the individual steps, because it's going to end up being quite a few parts from our own personal Lego collection to build out what was missing from the set. As we built this, we used the instructions from the previous ATST set and then modified it in order to fit onto this base, and we modified it based on the parts that we have as you go through this video. If you want to make modifications, there's obviously easy color substitutions that you can make, and there's a lot of pieces that can be substituted as well. But we'll show you the solution that we came up with, and we'll start off by looking at our modification of the existing set here, which is only going to require a few parts, which I'll show right here, and we'll get going on this modification. So to start our upgrade of the ATST here, the first thing we're going to have to do is take off this top chunk, because the front part here is just a little bit too large for the head to rest on there. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is take off this 1x3 Technic piece so that we can take off the head here. That Technic piece is going to be reused. This whole gun assembly can come off. That will be all reused. And then we're going to take off these two 1x4 plates, and we will take off this whole bottom section here, which is going to include the 6x6 plate, the little wing pieces, the cheese wedge. All of this is going to get discarded, so we can just throw that off to the side. Now, to make our modification, we're going to add a 1x4 plate in. We're going to add in a 4x6 plate, and then we're going to lose some of our support, so we're going to add in a couple of these 2x2 round pieces just to support these 1x3 pieces here so they don't fall off. And then we're going to have to take off this back section here, because this is where our head is going to attach. So we'll take off these pieces. Those are going to be discarded. These 1x2 plates with rails will be discarded. And then we'll replace that with a couple of 1x2 jumpers. And then we're going to move all of this forward just a little bit. So we'll put a 1x4 plate on here, and we'll reattach that assembly. We'll put on a 1x4 with just the two studs all the way at the front. That's where the front of our head is going to attach. And then I've got two 1x1 round bricks that I'll place in here just so that we can move forward these bar pieces. And then finally we'll put these 1x4 plates back on the bottom. These were from the original set. And now this whole assembly can go, oops, put the gun back on. Can't forget our important parts here. Put our gun assembly back on, and now this whole assembly can reattach, and we can secure it again with our 1x3 Technic piece that was there. Now we have our modified base. which will allow for our head, when we complete it, to get attached to the base. So it'll attach just by these 4 studs back here, and then we'll have a little front assembly that'll go on here, which will be its own separate attachment. So we'll start with the front end assembly next, and we'll show you the pieces for that in just a second. Alright, to build the front of our ATST's head, these are the pieces that we are going to need. And we'll go ahead and start with the build. We'll start with the 1x4 dark bluish gray brick. And we've got this 2x4 studs on the side piece here, which will attach. And then we'll just have a little bit of filler here with 2 1x1 round tiles. And then on top of that, we will add in our 2x2 studs on the side coming up here. And then we're going to, on the back side of this, start to build in with our 1x2 corner tiles. We'll use a 1x4 plate. Sorry, I called it tile plates. We've got these modified 1x2 plates with the bar attachment. We'll do one of those on each side. And then we'll use our 1x3, a 1x2 in the middle here, and then another 1x3. We'll use another 1x2 corner, 1x2 corner, and then we'll use another 2x2 studs on the side, and then we can start to build in the front of our face. And for that we'll use these 2x4 wedge pieces, one on each side. We've got the 1x3 tiles. We've got these 2x2 wedge pieces, which we will add a corner tile to. Stick that into place. Same thing on the other side. Stick that into place. We'll put a 1x2 tile up at the top, and then 2 1x1 tiles on either side. And then just as another filler here, we'll have these 1x1 round tiles there. So this is the front part of our ATST's face. That will just get put right onto our modified 1x4 so that it can pop off when needed. And these bar end pieces here, these modified tiles with the bars, those modified plates with the bars, those will be receiving the rest of our head here in just a moment. Alright, the next part of our video here is going to be building up the back wall section that's going to fit on right here. And here are the pieces that we are going to need. And to start this build, we will start with the 2x4 light bluish gray plate. And we'll top that with the 2x4 dark bluish gray plate, and then the 2x2 light bluish gray plate. And then on top of that, we will add these 2x2 studs on the side pieces, one on each side there. We'll put another 2x2 light bluish gray plate in the middle. And then below those, we will add our 2x1x2 studs on the side pieces, one on each side. And we'll lock those into place with these 1x3x1 slope pieces. And then on top of this, we will add a little assembly that's going to require a 1x2 with 2 pinholes Technic piece. And this Technic piece that's got the axle connection on the one side and the pin on the other. And we'll start by putting that pin into one of the holes, and the other hole we'll put this Technic axle piece with the stud on the end through. So that 3-piece assembly will go on, and then we'll make the mirror image of it for the other side. So the Technic brick, that 3 long Technic piece, the Technic axle with the stud on the end. There we go. And then we'll take this 4 long half width Technic piece with the 2 pin connections there, and we'll just put that right into place. There we go. And then we will cover all of this up with this 3-high bracket piece. And then again, we kind of took this from the instructions from another ATST. They use these clip pieces here. This is a place where you can certainly substitute pieces, because really all you need is a 1x1 plate of any variety there. This might add a little bit of texture, but it's not that big of a deal. We're going to put this 6 long 5-hole Technic brick on top of that. This will get locked into place with the 1 stud high bracket, and then we've just got a cheese wedge piece here, the 2 long cheese wedge piece, to smooth that out a little bit. On the very top, we'll fill this in with 2 1x2 dark bluish gray elements, and then in the back we will add 4 of the black Technic pins, and we will add 1 of the blue half Technic pins, which we'll use as a connecting point for something later on. And then the last part of this assembly is to take these Technic pieces that are the Technic pins and the axle here. We will put into the axle the connector, and then we've got these 2 long Technic pieces that's an axle and a pin. We'll put the axle on that. We'll attach that to the one side, and then we'll make the mirror image on the other. And then the last thing we'll do is on the top here, you could do a 1x8 tile piece. We've just got 2 1x4s. This is again just a place where we substituted in because that's what we had in our collection. So here's our back wall of our ATST. It will sit right on our jumper piece and that Technic piece that sits there, and we will create the sides next. Alright, the next part of the video here is going to be building the side of the head, and we'll start with the far side based on the angle that we're looking at right here. Here are the pieces that we're going to use. I will say in this section we have substituted a lot with color for light bluish gray and dark bluish gray, and also with sizes of plates here, which I'll explain a little bit as we go, because I didn't order any parts for this. This was just all from our own Lego collection. So we'll start by using a 4x4 light bluish gray plate. On top of that we will add a 2x4 dark bluish gray plate in the front and in the back. And then we'll add a 2x8 dark bluish gray plate. And then on top of that we will add the 4x4 dark bluish gray plate that has just the studs on the one side there. Underneath we will add the 2x10 plate. You can see we've already made some substitutions in lengths of pieces here just for the parts that we had on hand. We've got a 1x8 dark bluish gray plate with the rail. We're going to put a little spacer in here using a 1x3 light bluish gray plate, and then we'll do the 8x3 wedge plate on top of that. Down here we'll put a 1x4 light bluish gray tile. Holding all this in place, we'll put a 4x4 wedge plate. We'll put a couple more tiles in here, a 1x4 light bluish gray tile and a 1x3 light bluish gray tile. Building more out towards the front, we will add in a 4x2 with Technic pin holes. We'll add 2 2x2. This could also be a 2x4 light bluish gray tile. We just, again, didn't happen to have any of those in our collection at the time. We've got another 4x4 wedge plate in light bluish gray this time. We've got another 1x8 plate with the rail attachment on it. And then we will add in the 4x4 round with the Technic pin hole, a 2x2 round tile with the Technic pin hole, and then just to cover up this little bit of the hole, we'll add the grate piece just for a little bit of texture as well, and then one more supporting piece is going to be this corner tile. And then if we turn it around to the back side, we're going to add a couple of these 2x2 round modified plates, which are going to provide a little bit of support here and give us the proper spacing that we need over here. We'll add a 1x2 light bluish gray plate, and then we'll add this 2x2 modified plate with the Technic pin. We'll hold that into place here with a 1x4 light bluish gray plate, 1x3 light bluish gray plate, and then we're going to make a little bit of a sub-assembly here. We've got this 1x2 modified plate with the Technic pin on the bottom. We've got this Technic pin with the pin receptacle, which will go in there. And finally we've got the pin and axle blue. So we'll put all that together into a little bit of a sub-assembly. And this will go, oops, I have that upside down. There we go. So we've got, there we go, that looks a little bit better. That'll all go right on here. And then we'll hold all that in place with a 2x2 tile. And then just a couple other supporting pieces here. We've got a 1x2 corner plate, which will go right here, and a 2x3 plate, which will go all the way at the top here. And here is our side of our face. So this blue Technic pin is going to go right into our assembly right here, this black portion here of the assembly, and then our modified plate, the pinhole there, is going to attach right on to this little bar piece here. So we'll go ahead and get that into place. And now we've got the left side of our head. So we'll repeat that process for the right side. Alright, we're ready for the second side of our head. We should have all the same pieces here as the other side. We've got slightly different pieces again just because we substituted out some of the lengths of plates here. But otherwise, if you had all of identical pieces, you could do the identical build. Ours will be just slightly different at the base here. We're going to start again with the 4x4 light bluish gray. We will add on to that the 2x4 dark bluish gray, another 2x4 dark bluish gray, and the 2x8 dark bluish gray. On top of that, we will add our 4x4 dark bluish gray with the studs on just the one side. And then here we had a 2x10 before, but now we're going to use a 2x4 and a 2x6 in order to get that same effect. And then on the back of that, we will add in our 1x8 with the rail attachment. We will add in our 1x3 light bluish gray, our 3x8 wedge. Building out towards the front here, we've got our 2x4 with the Technic pins. We've got our two 2x2 tiles, our 1x8 light bluish gray rail, our 4x4, oops, wrong way, light bluish gray wedge, 1x4 tile, 1x3 tile, 4x4 dark bluish gray wedge, another 1x4 tile, our 4x4 round with Technic hole, Technic pin hole, our 2x2 round tile with the Technic pin hole, our grill piece, and our 2x2 corner tile. On the back side, I'm going to start to build it out with the 1x2 plate, our 2x2 modified plate with the Technic pin. Keep that in place with our 1x4 plate, our 1x3 plate. We'll set that down and we'll make our subassembly, which is our 1x2 with the Technic pin, our Technic pin with the Technic hole, and our blue pin with axle and pin. There's our little subassembly. That'll go right into place here. We'll keep that in place with our 2x2 modified tile. We've got our 2x2 rounds, one at the very bottom here, one at the back, our 1x2 corner plate, and finally our, oops, I'm sorry, that's the wrong way. The 1x2 corner should actually go in this orientation here. There we go, that looks better. 1x2 corner, and then finally is the 2x3 plate. Again, this pin will attach, and then we will put that Technic over top of the front. And now we have a nearly complete ATST. We just need to build our top section. Alright, now we'll build the top section of our ATST head. Here are the pieces that we will need for this. Again, this is another place where you can certainly substitute colors and size of plates here in order to get the desired effect. But what we will do is start with a 4x6 dark bluish gray plate. On top of that we'll add a 2x2 light bluish gray plate. We'll take two 1x6 light bluish gray plates, two 1x4 light bluish gray plates. We'll put on top of those two 1x2 light bluish gray tiles. On the underneath side here we'll put two 1x2 dark bluish gray plates. And then we'll put in two 1x4 dark bluish gray plates. I'll turn it back over again here so you can see from the top side. We've got the 1x2 plates with the bar attachment here. We'll put on two of those. And then we'll start to build a little sub-assembly here, which will start with two 1x2 corner piece plates. Onto that we will add a 1x2 plate that has the slide rail. We'll take two 1x2 plates and two 1x2 with the bar end here. This is just going to be our front end section here, and then we'll put all that together with two 1x4 tiles in light bluish gray. This could be a 2x4 tile as well if you've got that. We just didn't have that in our parts collection. And then we'll add this whole section on to our other assembly. Here's what we have from the top and the bottom. Onto the bottom, we'll start to reinforce things here a little bit with a 2x3 dark bluish gray plate and a second one down here. Swinging back over to the top, we're going to add in these 1x2 plates with the grabber there, which will hold our top hatch once we build that part. And then we're going to add in these 1x2 plates with the Technic pin, and we'll into that, just one notch, we'll add in the Technic pin, the 3 long that also has the axle hole there, and then we'll push this all the way in once we attach the top section to the ATST. Another one on the other side. I didn't have 2 of these in the same color. That doesn't bother me so much. We got one light bluish gray, one black. Again, we just went with what we had from our own collection currently. And then we'll put in a 4x4 light bluish gray plate to get that all locked into place. And then we'll put in a 2x6 light bluish gray plate, a 2x4 light bluish gray plate. Again, this could be a 2x10 on both sides if you had that in your collection. And then just a couple of extra little details that we'll add in here. We'll put in these 2x3 wedge plates. We'll put in these 1x2 grill pieces. Put 4 of those on. And then we'll put it on these 1x1 clip pieces. Put on 4 of those, which are going to hold in some bars for us. Again, just a little bit of extra detail up here on the top. Here's our 2 bar pieces. We'll make a nice little railing for the outside. And then once this is all put together, we can attach it to our ATST right up top here into these holes on either side. Those will get pushed right in with the Technic pins. Alright, just a couple of little details left to build. I'll show you the pieces for the hatch up on top and the guns on the cheeks. Alright, here are the pieces that we're going to need for those last little details. From left to right is our hatch pieces. Here's one gun assembly, here's the second gun assembly. For the gun assemblies, we just made our own design. You can do kind of however you want. There's a lot of different techniques available for this, but we just have a black pin going into the pinhole with the axle on this side. We've got a flick fire missile piece, which we will add a 1x1 cylinder and then the 1x1 tile with the hole in the middle too. We'll put those 2 together. We'll slide the flick fire missile all through that, and then we'll attach that in here, and then that'll be our single gun on the right side. And then on the left side, we've got this double pin with the axle hole in the middle. Through that axle hole, we'll put the 2 long axle with the pin on one end. We'll just hold that into place with the axle cover there. And then we've got tons of these little 1 length pieces, because they always give you an extra one anytime they're in a set. So we'll put 4 of those on, and then we'll put in 2 flick fire missiles to build out our second cheek gun assembly. That's the double gun assembly. And then finally for our hatch, we've got the 4x4 round piece. On top of that, we'll put the 2x2 round tile. On the bottom, we'll put a 2x2 dark bluish gray plate and 2 1x2 with bar end attachment. And then we'll hold all that in place with the 2x2 under tile there. And then we'll put that up into place right up at the top. And now we've got our little hatch there. And we have now completed what I will describe as a not so easy Lego upgrade, turning our pair of walking legs into an actual ATST. So it still retains all the functionality of the previous ATST here, where we've got the nice swiveling head there, and then we've made it on just a couple of tiles so that we can easily remove the head. We still have the hatch functionality. In addition, we can lift the entire top here for easy access into our compartment to put our BB-8 if we want them in there. And then when it's time, we can just pull back this whole head section, and it just easily comes off there. We can knock off the front here, it's just held by 2 studs, and now we're back to our just pair of walking legs. But anytime we want, we can put our head back on, and we can have a much more functional ATST. I need a second hand for that. We like having the ATST. This itself was kind of a large disappointment, but with the addition of the head and the ability to take that off, I think we get all the play feature that we want. We can recreate the scene from the movie as we like, and otherwise we can just have an ATST as part of our collection. So it's kind of a longer video, I apologize for that, but it was a lot of steps. There was a lot going on here to make this a better ATST. Certainly thank you for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and like. Please subscribe to the channel so you can see future videos as they come available. And thanks again for watching.